acknowledge the sponsor of the show, Tiege Hanley, because Tiege Hanley sent me this new pack. They sent me the new Tiege pack, so I just literally pulled the paper out, got it out of the mail, and I started going through it, and I got a little bit more excited than I should. You know what I'm saying? So they did send me the Tiege pack, and I don't even know what this is yet. So I'm assuming this is what you get when you first order your Tiege, and I don't know what this is. Oh, this is dope. This is absolutely dope. Is this a nail kit? Ladies, get this for the fellas. Fellas, don't wait for the ladies to get it for you. This is free. This just comes with it. 30% off your first order, plus 20% off for life. Literally. Oh, snaps. I didn't know that they were sending it like this. Real talk. So this is the nail kit that they sending you. All right. So now you ain't looking like a dusty. This is a free gift straight from Tiege for the people that ordered the Tiege. They got the small one for the little hands like mine's. They got the big joints for your toenails. And then they got the joints at the bottom too. You know what I'm saying? For y'all that's a little bit more crustier than usual. All right, so that's one of the free gifts that Tiege got inside of the pack. And then, what is this? Says, squeeze a quarter-size amount of Tiege Hanley body wash on the center of the wet bristles. Lather, scrub, rinse, and repeat for the perfectly satisfying wash every time. So that's inside of there also, right? Ooh, I can get my rubber ducky on right here. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to Tiege for sending me that uncomplicated skincare for men. And then what we got in here? We got the actual Tiege pack, right? So this is the normal Tiege pack, but then they gave me the supersized joint for the people. They wanted me to show the people exactly what they got when they ordered that first Tiege pack, when you're getting your 30% off your first order, and then you get your free gifts. You get 2 free gifts, and then the 20% off for life. So the 20% off for life is a new thing. And dang, I ain't even got my keys on me to open this up. Maybe I can use the little nail clipper thing. I ain't got to buy no nail clipper for my new joint downtown. And then you get all of the washes, all of the scrubs, all of the AM, the PMs, and all of that stuff. So you got the whole thing inside of there for you to make sure you take care of yourself. But you got to make sure you take care of it every day. Right? We don't want to miss days. We don't want to be looking like dusties. It does not absolve you from being able to make sure that you brush your teeth. Brush your teeth. It don't fix the teeth problem. Don't fix you ironing your clothes. Don't fix you being able to take care of your business. But it absolutely makes sure that your skin is phenomenal, even when you're going between shaves. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to Tiege Hanley. We absolutely appreciate you. Thank you for continuing to hold us down. I might do an official Tiege commercial, but I like just talking authentically to the people. I like giving the people the authentic look of what it is that you're dealing with, and I want you to hear from me personally, because anybody can do that little pitch and they can make some little videos, but very few of us can actually speak to the products of exactly what it is that you're supposed to use. So yeah, Tiege Hanley, 30% off your first order, and then 20% off for life. That's the Anton Daniels pack, 20% off for life. Using any other Tiege pack, make sure that you go ahead and let that go. And make sure you tap into the link that's in the description and take care of it, all right? What's going on is Anton from AntonDaniels.com. I appreciate you guys for continuing to rock with me. Thank you for tuning in for another edition of the Millionaire Morning Show. I am your host, Anton Daniels, and I appreciate everybody for tapping in last night. Yeah, I appreciate y'all. Did y'all tap into the Patreon yet? That link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. I appreciate every single person. Was last night's show a hit, or was last night's show a mother-loving hit? Man, that's crazy. I didn't expect it. I don't be knowing what's going on. When I popped up on the panel a little bit before 10 o'clock last night, I was thinking to myself, oh man, this is going to be one of them shows. This is one of them ones. I think that was probably the best show yet. I think that was probably the best show yet. It's crazy. Thank you, Tech Noob. I'm going to be reading that super chat shortly. Thank you to everybody that continue to support me. Let me also say this, that my people eat. You know what I'm saying? My people eat. Everybody that's a part of my team, everybody that rock with me, everybody that do what they do, Q, Quentin, all of them, Mika, all my people eating. You know what I'm saying? So they good out in these streets. And we appreciate y'all. We appreciate y'all for supporting the platforms. I got a long-term view of what I want to do as far as continuing to grow these platforms, expand what we doing over at the Patreon, Millionaire Morning Show. I got big plans for this. Travis Revis, I agree with you. I'm about to read that super chat shortly. Messi, what up? What up to all of my friends and family in the building? Man, Eric Daniels, Tyrone Edwards, DJ Ace Productions. Was last night crazy or was it crazy? Let me first and foremost, I want to give a shout out to everybody that showed up last night, all of the viewers. I also want to give an acknowledgement to everybody that's a part of the team. Randy is a part of the team. Q, absolutely awesome. 2K, Quentin, everybody that was on the panel last night, y'all was absolutely awesome. I want to give a shout out to all of the ladies that showed up. Kwane, I want to give a shout out to also Jazz. I know I'm missing some people because it was 10 of us on there, but my point is that we got a phenomenal team. But none of this is possible, right? None of this is possible. And we're going to get right into the show shortly after this. None of this is possible as far as what you see happening all across the board without the people that support me, you guys, and the people that's on the team that's absolutely awesome and phenomenal at what they do. I want to give a special acknowledgement to Q. Island Gaia Q. She will be at the meetup. If you guys are not a part of the Patreon, link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. I want to give a special shout out to Q because Q is the one that has done all of the great recruiting, putting these things together, coming up with the subjects, managing the panel. And I want to also say that Q has been loyal to me and she has been dedicated to what we've been building over here for years. Absolutely, positively for years. 100%. And I had seen something in Q that other people on other platforms didn't see. I seen her talent. I seen something that was beyond what it is that she looked like. And I just want to make sure that we give her acknowledgement. Shout out to Trigger last night. I want to give Q her acknowledgement, and I always want to give people their flowers. You know how y'all give me my flowers? I want to give her flowers. So let me give a round of applause for Q and Quentin and everybody, man. Just absolutely everybody. I love my people. And the first thing that I do when I get a bag is I bust it down with my people. That's a fact. That's a fact. So absolutely love my people. And I'm just going to tell y'all the best is yet to come. The best is yet to come. We got big, big, big things planned. And so we're going to continue to invest in the platform. We're going to continue to invest in what we do. We're going to invest in the people, right? Because investing in the platform is not just the technologies. It's not the cameras. The cameras and all of that don't mean as much. It's the people. It's the people that make these things what it is. I want to give a shout out to my editors. I want to give a shout out to my people, the content creators. And we're going to be doing after hours tonight. And so we consistent. We continue to keep y'all entertained. We want to make sure that we add value into y'all life. And we're going to keep rocking. So we love y'all. We appreciate y'all. And thank y'all for continuing to roll out with us. I want to also give a special shout out to the sponsor of the show, Tiege Hanley, right? 40% off your first order plus 20% off of life. That is the Tiege Hanley pack. Ladies, get it for the fellas. Fellas, don't wait for the ladies to get it for you. Man, I got so much planned for you guys. I wish I could just announce it all right now. But we got a limited amount of time that we have in order to do the housekeeping because we want to get straight to the show. Let me read some of the super chats and the cash apps, and then we're going to go from there. Special shout out to my guy, Mike, that dude, on Cash App, always making sure that Time Dog get a little bit of hot chocolate. I don't drink coffee, but he makes sure I get that hot chocolate in the morning. So we rocking out. Y'all can see I got my computer over there. Let me shut the computer. I don't need y'all all in my business. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Need y'all all in my business. When I get a notification, y'all need to be trying to check and see what Time Dog do for a living for corporate America, what it is that he do. Anton gets all bags because we got to feed the people. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to Tiege Hanley. If you guys are not a part of the Bag Chasers and the Patreon, the best day to join the Patreon is the beginning of the month. Make sure that you're working through the videos in addition to joining the Discord. The link to the Discord is in the description of any of the most recent videos. Chasers, we up. First meetup. Q is actually doing reconnaissance. She's actually finding a location, picking a location, and that should be updated very, very shortly. As soon as we secure the location is when I post it inside of the Bag Chasers and the Patreon. And I also want to let y'all know that it is all Bag Chasers. We are not doing any kind of, we don't charge people to get in. It's not that type of party. We got new tours coming up. We got big things working, all right? Let me acknowledge some of the super chats, and we're going to get it popping with the show. Tech Noob says, excellent show yesterday. You continue to remain on the incline, and your focus is impeccable. Keep going. Thank you, Tech Noob. I appreciate you for supporting the platform and supporting what we do over here. Travis Rivas says, 2K and Cam stole the show last night. I want y'all to also know that we need villains, too. And I love that people play their role on these shows. Randy, shout out to my girl Randy. We got a new episode of Let's Rant About It. Dropping tonight on the Anton Daniels. It's going to premiere tonight. It's episode 4, and it's featuring Ton Dog. Yes, it is. Man, I wish I should have dropped a little bit of it because I got into a little confrontation. Y'all definitely going to want to tune in for that one. Let me see something. Let me see what's happening in these streets. Anton got into a little bit of kerfuffle on his latest episode of Let's Rant About It. Because, I was talking. Actually, it's not. It's the episode after this. So right after this episode, we going to have the next episode next week. Time Dog going to be in the building, and we're going to be talking about it. So shout out to Travis Rivas. I appreciate you. But check out the latest premiere on the Anton Daniels channel of Let's Rant About It. It's going to be dope. Shout out to my girl, Randy. Randy in the building says, good morning, Anton. The AD symbol on the bottom right is blocking the Tiege logo. Back to the clouds. God bless. Yeah, I know. That was a commercial. We had to have a logo. It's a little bit of kerfuffle, but we working on it. Thank you, Randy K. I appreciate you for holding me down. What else we got over here? Eric Harris says, AD, I appreciate you letting the ladies have their single baby mama conversation. It got heated, but shout out to Cam for holding women accountable. I'm so used to having conversations and carrying the conversation a lot of times that I've become more situationally aware as I've matured in this content creation space to where I don't always have to be the center of attention. You know what I'm saying? When Cam and Randy is going back and forth, then Cam and Randy is going back and forth. When 2K is having this moment, then it's 2K. When it's Quentin, my goal last night was not only to just be a contributing member to the conversation, but to also make space for everybody to be able to get their thoughts off. So I'm learning. I'm figuring it out. I'm learning. We're going to do it. Shout out to Eric Harris for supporting the platform. I appreciate y'all. P. Shank in the building says, good morning, Mr. Anton Daniels. Last night's show was awesome. Man, it's the best show yet. Wealth Building Journey says, and we built it out the mud. Teflon Time, Detroit was dope this weekend. Got to check out downtown along Woodward. Went all the way to Grosse Pointe and got to see Canada and the People Mover. Detroit is on the rise. Ain't it? Ain't it? See, you got to see it for yourself in real life. So a lot of people are not aware of how awesome the city is. It's incredible. Latrell M says, what up, though? Drop that 2-ball inside of the collection plate. Ban Flacco says, your voice is getting louder, AD. Keep up the good work. We working. I also want to let y'all know that I appreciate every single person that contributes into the platform. You don't have to. I never ask for y'all to hit the Cash App. I never ask for y'all to drop a super chat. I just like to acknowledge the people that contributed into the platform because you absolutely should be appreciated and acknowledged, along with everybody that just watches, right? If you hit a like for the algorithm, if you just support the platform, if you subscribe to the channel and turn on your notifications, I love you. I love you. I genuinely love you. I don't care if it's $1. I don't care if it's a like. I don't care what it is. I'm just appreciative. I'm always going to be appreciative no matter how many subscribers, no matter how successful we become, no matter what is going on. I'm always going to be appreciative. And the only thing that I advocate for y'all to do is join the Bag Chasers because that's aligning yourself with a group of people that's going in the direction that you're going in. So that link is always going to be in the description. Forego the Big Mac meal this week and go and get you a Bag Chaser membership and let's run it up. You know what I'm saying? Let's get to this money. All right. Without further ado, we're going to go ahead and get straight into the show. You know what it is. Quick hits, ladies and gentlemen. We got a lot to go over today, so let's just get it popped. Quick hits is a segment of the show that we don't necessarily think that we need to go over each individual subject as its own segment, but we definitely want to keep you guys informed on what's going on out in these streets, man. First things first, Sean Kingston, beautiful girl, suicidal. Sean Kingston bail set at $100,000, and he got them county grays on, them county blues on. Check it out, y'all.
Sean Kingston booked and charged in South Florida. The singer makes his first court appearance today following the raid 10 days ago at his home in Southwest Ranches. CBS News Miami's Joan Murray is live outside of the jail in Fort Lauderdale. And Joan, Kingston is still in there?
Yeah, that's exactly right, Jim. Now, just until a few days ago, as we all know, he is being held in California, but now he is up there in the Broward jail in a cell. And just a few hours ago, he went before a judge to find out exactly how he could be released from that jail cell.
I can stay alive to the end of time. Even though they want me dead.
Singer and rapper Sean Kingston put his recent California arrest front and center in his new music video, along with his mother taken into custody at their rented Southwest Ranches home. The two accused of stealing money, jewelry, a car, and furniture.
Mr. Anderson, good afternoon.
Hold on, let's not skip past exactly what all of that stuff they're accused of.
Stealing money, jewelry,
They said that he accused of stealing over $86,000 in furniture. Wrote a $44,000. How you write a $44,000 bad check? I didn't even know that people were still writing checks. Every single transaction that I do that's not electronic, I go and get a cashier's check. So you just go to the bank, you basically withdraw or you transfer the money over from your brokerage, or that's what we do over at the Bag Chasers, because we always want our money working for us. But we transfer the money over from our brokerage account over to the regular checking account. We go into the bank, we get a cashier's check for whatever the amount is, and we pay for what we pay for. Y'all still writing bad checks? It's 2024. Y'all still writing bad checks on $160,000 on a Cadillac Escalade, finesse, jewelry, finesse. All of that stuff that you're looking at, you actually can forego. You don't even need this stuff, but let's continue.
car, and furniture.
Mr. Anderson, good afternoon, sir. I have your attorneys, Mr. Rosenblatt and Ms. Brzezanek, on Zoom today.
Kingston, whose real name is Keshawn Anderson, was extradited back to Broward County over the weekend. At his bond hearing, Anderson listened intently as a judge outlined the 10 criminal charges, including an organized scheme to defraud, grand theft, fraud, criminal use of personal identification, and violation of probation for trafficking stolen property.
That Mr. Anderson's probation is out of the state of California, and that is why I'm asking that Your Honor put that as a no bond hold, because when I don't know that the court has the authority.
You should be able to get off on 100 racks, because I think either you got to pay 10%, or maybe if you paid 100,000. Listen, man, if you out here frauding, finessing, selling drugs, anything that could get you arrested, keep you at least $250,000. Let me say that again for all of the people that's out here finessing. This is one of the things that I've always heard some of the biggest criminals say. Keep you $250,000 unless you're doing big stuff. Then you keep you at least a couple million. Keep you $250,000 available so you can get out of jail and that you can get a good lawyer. That's always been the sentiment. So he should be able to get out on 100,000 bail, and especially if it's only 10%. But maybe since he violated his probation, it's the 400,000. He should be able to come up with that. You know what I'm saying?
Probation.
But Anderson's lawyer said since a Florida judge already set bond on the violation of probation, he should be eligible for release.
And if California wanted to hold him, I'm sure they wouldn't have extradited him to Florida.
Somebody call 911.
Though it's been years since Kingston had a hit.
She couldn't wait to say, since it's been years since Kingston had a hit.
Hey,
who was that? Who was that?
Who knew him when came to watch what happened, including Laura, who said he had a concert at Florida State that was packed.
When I was growing up, I followed his music and popular shows that I would always watch. He would make guest appearances on and sing, and I've just always been a fan of his music.
Fans aside, the judge said bond at $100,000, and like his mother, Anderson is expected to be released from jail soon.
Now, we did check with the court. He has to have a hearing to determine whether the bond funds are coming from any illegal activity, but that is supposed to all be straightened out shortly, and we do expect that he will be released on bond in the.
Listen, ultimately, live within your means, stop overstunting in order to try to impress people that don't care nothing about you, and chill out and go and get your bag and stack up. But you know, a lot of these rappers and entertainers and athletes and people that's in the spotlight or people that make a lump sum of money, they haven't learned how to manage money effectively. Stack, invest, and you don't start stunting or you don't start spending money until your assets literally start to pay for your lifestyle. So I don't know why these people feel a need in order to stunt for people, because that's not even a thing anymore. It's like nobody even cares. It's a recession out here. And I will tell you, even if you say, yo, man, it's tough out here, I don't think that people are going to criticize you for that. If somebody comes out, regardless of how much money you have, at this point, if somebody comes out and say, hey, man, it's tough out here, we going through some things, money ain't as plentiful as it used to be or something like that, I don't care how significantly rich you are or how great you are, nobody is going to trip off of that. As long as you work and as long as you grind and as long as you're not doing nothing illegal, I don't see that as a big deal. So it ain't nothing to go through and up and down, but you continuing to project that you're more successful than you are is stupid to me. That's the dumbest thing that I've ever seen.
A Spirit Airlines passenger whose luggage was stolen took matters into her own hands and tracked it down to a house in Fort Lauderdale.
Now an airport employee is under arrest and charged with grand theft. Is this all part of a larger theft ring, though? Local 10 investigator Jeff Weinsteer is on the case.
I need my computer because I go to university, so I need my computer, no matter what.
Paola Garcia stood at Carousel 4 inside Terminal 4 for Lauderdale Hollywood International, watching fellow passengers receive their luggage.
And I've been waiting there for at least 2 hours.
Garcia tells us she always carries on board her pink hard-shell suitcase. It fits in the overhead. But she says for some reason this time, Spirit employees forced her to check it. The suitcase never hit this conveyor belt. That's because as she was waiting, according to an arrest affidavit and pictures, 29-year-old Junior Bazile apparently had her pink hard-shell suitcase in the back of an airport retail store.
Wait. So y'all still stealing luggage in this digital economy with air tags and everything like that? Y'all putting it in plastic bags and stealing people's luggage? Y'all so disrespectful. And then y'all gonna say that the man is against y'all, or y'all can't find no job, or you paid your dues to society. Man, don't you know that there was a time where they literally cut thieves' hands off, and now people feel so compelled to be able to steal and get away with it and not even be held accountable for it? That's disrespectful. Stealing people's luggage that got panties and stuff in it, that's so evil, bro.
Where he worked. Pictures show him rummaging through it, her MacBook, 2 watches, an iPad, jewelry, designer clothes, all taken. And back at the terminal and unaware, Spirit told Garcia not to worry.
We send you luggage to your house. So I give my address to Spirit.
But the next morning, her Apple Watch is sending a signal, but not from the airport.
You're at home and your watch is pinging at a house in Fort Lauderdale.
15 minutes from the airport.
So you decide to go to this house.
Yes, because I said, how Spirit moved my suitcase there?
The Apple Watch's signal coming from this house at 1017 Northwest 11th Court.
So you pull up to the house and you see luggage and suitcases all over the place outside?
Everywhere, yes. 1, 2, 3, 4.
She dialed 911.
The first things I remember the police told me is like, what are you doing here? This is so dangerous for you to be here.
A Broward Sheriff's detective put that house address into an internal database here at the airport and found that Junior Bazile worked here for a company that operates retail stores. And he was working that day. These pictures were obtained through an investigation. Bazile had already gotten rid of the items when he was arrested and charged with grand theft.
How are you?
We went to that house to talk to Bazile. You know he was stealing luggage from the airport, for people's luggage?
My daughter told me that. He never told me that.
He wasn't home. We had a pleasant, cordial, 7-minute plus conversation with his mother, who never asked us to leave and answered all of our questions.
Because the police come in here, they don't find me.
Mama tired of him stealing. She gonna tell the news everything. Look at her face.
Nothing in my house.
But when we told her at one point Garcia's Apple Watch was pinging from inside of her house, this happened. That was coming from your house.
Stop! I told you, if you don't want to go to jail with me.
She yanks the ID right off my neck and then claims that I hit her.
Yes, put me in the camera. Put me in the camera. Put me in the camera.
Police looked at the video.
That's the proof you come to slap me.
They got me my ID back and no charges were filed.
Hey, y'all better be careful out here, bro. Oh, snaps. Oh, no. Listen, I was not expecting this. I'm reacting to it. Every single thing that you see happening today, all of the videos that were reviewed today are videos that I'm seeing for the first time, just like the audience. I'm captivated.
Days later, Junior Bazile was in court for a status on that grand theft charge. I think we have a right to ask you. You're stealing passengers' luggage?
Go away, sir.
Nothing to say to the lady whose stuff you took?
Go away.
In a statement to Local 10 News, Spirit Airlines said, quote, "We issued a reimbursement check to the guest as a courtesy, even though we are not currently aware of any evidence that any Spirit employee was involved." Reimbursed as a courtesy? An airport spokesperson said passenger bags checked in with an airline are under that carrier's care and responsibility. A spokesperson for Parody Shops, where Bazile worked, had no comment. Is this part of a bigger ring?
Yep. Because there's no way he could have got a hold of somebody else's luggage without somebody on the inside or somebody that was a part of the ring. And so he felt so comfortable, and he'd been doing it for so long, that all of the airport luggage, he don't even discard it the same way. He just throw it outside of the door because they nasty. Absolutely. And if they really wanted to solve for the problem, and if Spirit Airlines was smart, they would do a bigger investigation as to who the employee is that's really stealing all of the stuff and ultimately giving it to him. So the only reason that they caught him is because of the Apple Watch that was pinging onto the location where he was at, and he got sloppy. And that's usually what happened with criminals. Anyways, last but not least, a 3-year-old and his mother was taken out in Ohio. It's crazy, y'all. Check it out.
We continue to follow breaking news. A 3-year-old boy and his mother are in the hospital at this hour after getting stabbed outside of a busy supermarket. And adding to the shock of this crime, the mayor describing this as a random act of violence. Caitlin McCarthy has the new developments.
The 3-year-old boy and his mother were taken here to St. John Medical Center in Westlake after being stabbed in the parking lot of North Olmsted's Giant Eagle. The little boy is in critical condition, according to one of our sources. His mother is stable.
This area is really nice and everything. We'd never really expect something this scary.
Customers shocked to see a crime scene in the parking lot of Giant Eagle in North Olmsted Monday afternoon. A mother and her 3-year-old son were stabbed, according to police. They received several 911 calls for help.
We have several calls of somebody with a knife trying to stab people.
Investigators say this is the suspect, 32-year-old Bianca Ellis of Cleveland.
Hey, what's up, ladies? It seems like a lot of the crimes that's starting to take place inside of society today is perpetuated by y'all. What's up, ladies? What are y'all doing? Y'all not holding y'all sisters accountable? And you know she had to know the people, because it couldn't have been random stabbing the lady and her kid.
Cleveland. Officers arrested her shortly after.
Walking towards Lorraine Road, black leggings, black top. She's got the knife with her.
The city's mayor says it appears this was a random act of violence.
I guess I was wrong. Demons is running around every day.
You know, that could be me. These are people that, things happen to, so you want to know what happened.
This violence is leaving neighbors saddened for this little boy.
Random act of violence?
I saw the spilled grocery, and, I know you're not supposed to rubberneck, but you do care about other people. When something like that happens, you care.
Pay attention to what's going on around you.
Tonight, I reached back out to the hospital for any update they can give us on how that 3-year-old boy is doing. We haven't heard back yet, but as soon as we do, we'll update you here on air or on our website, cleveland19.com.
So I did do a little bit of research to find out what was going on with the 3-year-old, and it's sadly enough to report the 3-year-old did die. It did die. The 3-year-old boy that was stabbed from the black woman that had a random attack on just some passerbys over in Ohio did pass away. So I'm assuming that they are now going to charge this woman with some form of murder to where she never gets out of jail ever again. But that does not actually pacify or solve for the problem that was happening in the first place. And it's unfortunate. I will tell y'all that y'all need to be very careful, be situationally aware, keep your head on the swivel. You could be walking around in the daytime nowadays in 2024, and some random woman is going to run up to you. Some random woman, not a man, not some crazy homeless person that's pulling their hair out. A random woman will walk up to you, stab you and your 3-year-old, and just walk away like it's nothing. Yes, the 3-year-old boy did pass away from his injuries. Rest in peace. But again, I just wanted to keep you guys updated on what's going on in these streets. It looks like the devil is taking over. So, ladies and gentlemen, that's your quick hits. Let me read a super chat, a couple of super chats before we continue over with the show. Finally join the Patreon. Next is a phone call. Shout out to the Bag Chasers. If you have not joined the Patreon yet, the link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. The best day to join the Patreon is the beginning of the month. And that's when you get the most value for your money. You know what I'm saying? So let's continue on with the show. First and foremost, I've already resigned myself to the idea that this woman will never go away. Over the next 5 years, I am almost 100% positive that we will be having a conversation about and discussing the whereabouts, the decisions, the arrogance, and the ignorance of Tiffany Henyard. I'm 100% positive. I can bet my bottom dollar that over the next 5 years, as the Millionaire Morning Show continues to go global, viral, and grows organically, that we will be talking about Tiffany Henyard. Now, yesterday, we had a conversation about what was going on over in Dolton Township. Dolton Township is where she is the township supervisor, where she makes a significantly, a huge amount of money for what she does, right? And that's to the tune of over $200,000. I'm not even sure that an elected official, especially on this level, should be making over $200,000 a year for this particular position. But who am I to count people's pockets, even though it's from the taxpayers? However, I didn't realize that Dolton, which is the city that she's the mayor over, where she get that extra bag, that extra $50K from, also had a township meeting last night, which included former Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot. I'd like to say Beetlejuice. I just don't want to say the name 3 times because I don't want her to appear inside of my studio, right? Neither here nor there. Fact of the matter is, they decided that they wanted to have this budget meeting, and they say that it was the most explosive budget meeting yet. Make sure you hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. Let's see what happened.
Also breaking tonight, one of the most chaotic meetings in Dolton that we've seen yet. Police had to stop it from getting physical.
Let's get right to political reporter Paris Schutz and the showdown between Lori Lightfoot and Dolton Mayor Tiffany Henyard. Paris.
Hey, baby, I see you. Small waist, pretty face. Let's get it.
Dawn and Scott, that showdown is continuing outside of Dolton Village Hall. Trustees voted 4-2 to override Mayor Henyard's veto and reinstate Mayor Lori Lightfoot's investigation into Henyard's spending into that 2023 trip to Las Vegas. And as you mentioned, soon after that vote, things just broke down into utter chaos. Multiple sides shouting obscenities at each other. Cops had to step in and break it up. This is right after Henyard and her allies.
Hey, hold on. Y'all got shirts made up in Dolton that say y'all going to jail on the back? What kind of clown show is this? What kind of clown? Y'all do know, as much as I think that Tiffany Henyard is horrible at her job as being a public servant, right? As much as I think that Tiffany Henyard is bad at her job, why can't we ever do things in order with a business-like perspective? And, you know, you can get off your thoughts. You can make sure that you vote. You can take care of business. I don't understand why this culture, it always devolves, not evolve, devolves into confrontation. That is perplexing to me. I don't understand it. It is very confusing to me. It's like everything has to get physical. Everything got to turn to violence. And the police always got to be called in order to break people up. Y'all don't know how to have a discussion or a heated debate without it turning into chaos where people got to have the police keep people off with each other. Y'all making shirts that say y'all going to jail tonight. Y'all deserve Tiffany Henyard, right?
The block Lightfoot from getting up and
look at my man. Homie, you like 70 years old. What are you doing pointing in somebody's face like you won't smoke? You are like 70 years. That is Nelson Mandela's son right there. Got the wrinkles and the bags under his eyes. Got his titty meat out. At least he matching and he coordinating. He got a full head of hair. So apparently he's staying on top of things or whatever. Fam, you like 70. You should be chilling. You ain't supposed to have this type of stress on you. Blood pressure up. Don't you know what this could do to your health? You about to get all bent out of shape over Tiffany Henyard and a Thornton Township meeting? That is Nelson. Why is Nelson Mandela up there going back and forth, knowing that they recording, and every single black person in there look like they've been eating hog maw, pig feet, chitlins, and collard greens made with lard? I don't see nobody in there that don't look like they eating good. That don't look like they just came from Thanksgiving dinner. I'm sorry. You know how we do it on the Millionaire Morning Show. This is an unconventional show that they don't want to have on national TV because we get easily distracted and we start using our context clues in order to understand exactly where the chaos comes from. Because see, it's not enough to just say that it's chaos here. We need to look at all the participants in here. Look at the back of that arm right here. This part right here, ain't never did a curl, ain't never worked on their triceps or biceps. Got that fade going on. Look just like a Dawson, Georgia Thanksgiving dinner in there. It probably smelled just like cigarettes and pig feet. And then got the nerve to have a y'all going to jail shirt on the front and back. Y'all look just as much like the food that y'all trying to take down. This is one of the reasons why y'all have the person in office that y'all have leading Dolton Township, because she's a reflection of the people that's there. She ain't no different than any one of them. All of them is the same. All of them is the same. Smell like Newport 100s in there. Anyways, let's not get distracted. Let's focus on Tiffany here.
Remarks. Eventually, Lightfoot got her mic turned on, and here's a little bit of what she had to say.
Look, and Beetlejuice right there.
You was once a mayor too. You should not even be disrespectful like that. That's sad.
Look at this foolishness.
Clear the room, guys. This means adjourn. Everybody out.
So 2 hours of absolute contention here. Lots of residents voicing their concerns. Earlier today, Mayor Henyard had the block in front of Village Hall cordoned off, making it very difficult for folks to get here, especially if you were senior or disabled. So Lightfoot's investigation, at least according to trustees, is back on now. It's going to focus into Henyard's spending of village resources, as well as that 2023 trip to Las Vegas. And Henyard doesn't believe the investigation is legal.
Be careful of a man that points like this. When he pointing at you and he pointing down at the same time, be careful. Watch that guy.
Residents lined up hours before the meeting. They got in, they packed the Village Hall, and they let their feelings about Mayor Henyard be known.
You're not going to understand until they put those cuffs on you. You're not going to understand it. You don't.
Listen. As much as a lot of these people may be right, let me say this. I think it's a lot of clout chasing going on in this room. This woman came up here, and I'm not going to give her no props. I'm going to hold y'all accountable as I see fit, because I got to be objective here. This woman came up here to be on TV. She was looking to go viral. She ain't got nothing to say. She's saying the same thing that everybody else has been saying for the last 6 to 8 months. Oh, you not gonna understand till they take you to jail. Auntie, sit down. You went and got that shirt printed up. You got your little bangs put together. You wanted to go viral. You made sure that you got on the mic. Stop, fam. You're not saying nothing that nobody else is saying. Y'all already voted her in. Let her ruin y'all township and let her ruin y'all city. You wanted to come up there and get your little 30 seconds of fame. You knew that they was going to point your shirt out and then show your little bangs in the front. Stop. Go home. I hate clout chasing, bro.
Don't care.
You hollering over there? I gotta be real, man. Listen, I'm just gonna tell y'all the truth. I can't stand people that be clout chasing. Y'all didn't care. Y'all didn't care when y'all went up there to vote for. Y'all didn't care. Y'all had the lowest voter turnout rate of almost any city inside of Illinois. You was not checking for Tiffany Henyard. It wasn't until me and Hannibal is Hungry and O'Shea Dude Jackson and Pink Book Lessons and all of us content creators wanted to bring some visibility over to y'all little city. Now you getting shirts made up so that you can come out here and get some visibility. Stop, bro. Stop.
But baby, they on to you.
But baby, they on you.
It's a shame that we, the public, can't ask you anything about the BMWs, the Range Rovers, all of that. It's like you're keeping all of that hidden from the taxpayers, and we pay for those.
You guys are following fiction, a made-up story. It is a smear campaign going on right now. People are using...
Hey, they don't even play Tiffany Henyard's part.
So as you can see right outside Dolton Village Hall here on MLK Drive in the village of Dolton, residents still fuming, still voicing their concerns to police officers. Police officers had to keep the peace as the meeting erupted into chaos. But the news out of this meeting, trustees vote 4-2 against Mayor Henyard. They reinstate Lightfoot's investigation into things that the FBI is also probing right now. A lot of things happening here in Dolton, and Dawn and Scott will continue to follow it in the days to come, but now we go back to you.
So Tiffany Henyard is a part of the chaos as usual. She's continuing to make the city look bad. If I were her, or if I were advising her, and if I was giving her career advice, my advice to her would be to fervently be looking for another position that hopefully can pay at least half of what she is making. Look to pivot and probably move completely out of Illinois, not just Dolton, but move out of Illinois completely, move to a whole nother city, and then be looking to resign. Because once you lose the voice of the people, your stress levels is going to be up no matter what, right? No matter what you do at this point, you could be the greatest mayor of all time after this. And you can continue to say that they're trying to have a smear campaign on you, but that's not true. The FBI is investigating you, so it's probably only a matter of time. And we all know that you're not going to get reelected, even though you arrogantly said that you was going to get reelected. We knew that that wasn't going to happen. And the people are on you. And so I think that the best thing for her is to find out where she can find another job, be looking to pivot. Don't wait until she loses everything. and hope that the FBI wait later rather than sooner in order to investigate her or in order to arrest her for possible fraud and corruption charges. But Dolton is just a chaotic city. It's a chaotic town. And it's unfortunate that the people continue to feed into it because they're just a reflection of the person that they elected. Let me read a few of these super chats and then we're going to continue over with the show. Quentin says, Tahoe Tiff will be in jail by next summer. Quentin, we don't wish jail on people, do we? I don't know. Shout out to the Great Way out here in the building. I appreciate you for supporting the platform. Amen, says AD. No, laughing my A off. I'm going to tell the truth. I'm going to tell the truth. Tell the truth, shame the devil, and let's have a conversation about what's really going on. It was a whole lot of clout chasing in there. People wasn't even concerned about what was going on until we brought visibility to what was going on over in your city. You know what I'm saying? Somebody said, AD, why you showing Tiffany Henyard? That is the Titanic. That is the ship. That ship is sank, and now we watching. It's all right. It's all right. Make sure y'all tap into After Hours tonight. I'm going to have me and my friends. We're going to be kicking it, me and the crew. That'll probably happen around 10:30 tonight. And then make sure y'all tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. What up, Slimmy? Slimmy is in the building. Let's get over to the next story, ladies and gentlemen. War in Chicago continues. Now, I was pretty adamant, only maybe throwing a quick hits up here and there because I'm trying to give Chicago a chance to redeem itself, a reprieve, so to speak, an opportunity to create a better image as the largest Midwest city, and they just refuse. And the only reason why I decided not to ignore all of the stories that proliferate overnight from what's happening in Chicago is because they decided to shoot at the priest. I couldn't believe it. I said, wait a minute. There's no way in the world of all the things that we could, because I was going to give Chicago a reprieve. I had a whole lot of stories to go over. We got Biden to talk about as far as him trying to limit what they're identifying as asylum seeking here in the United States of America right before the election time so that they can say, oh man, look what Biden did for the border and the migrant crisis and all of that. We got that. We got people to react to. 55-year-olds is getting laid off and now they're falling into depression. We got to go over to Oakland and California because Gavin Newsom absolutely is running that city into the ground. We got a lot to cover. And so I was largely going to let Chicago breathe. And I know how y'all feel about it because y'all keep saying, Anton, why you keep reporting on Chicago? Well, why y'all keep having crime? Why y'all keep not voting? Why y'all keep having trash mayors? Why y'all keep having trash aldermen? Why y'all keep letting people shoot at the priest? But when I seen the priest, I said, wait a minute. Hold up. Wait a minute. Let me put some Chirac in it. Nowhere in the world y'all going to be shooting at the priest and think that you're going to get away with it and Anton ain't going to bring you to the front of the congregation. Ain't no way that y'all going to be out here shooting at the motherfucking priest and thinking that y'all going to get away with it. In the daytime, that's unacceptable. Make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications.
Now at 4, a priest dodges bullets after he catches 2 men trying to steal catalytic converters outside of St. Ignatius College Prep.
CBS 2's Darius Johnson is live near the campus. And Darius, you have new information on this investigation.
Hey there, Marie. I can tell you that there were several cars in this parking lot last night, and sometime this morning there was a pair that tried to steal catalytic converters, and right now it's unclear if they got away with anything.
Is it a high price that's going for catalytic converters? Because it's a lot of people stealing catalytic converters over in Chicago and shooting at people that catch them stealing catalytic converters. Let's continue.
There are 2 holes in the door, that we can see.
2 bullet holes are left behind after 3 shots were fired during an attempted theft.
This is not right that something like this could happen in broad daylight. And it's not even a matter of something like this happening. It's a matter of a young person valuing.
Look at the cut. You see the cut right there? They learn more about criminal activity rather than just going to get a job or putting that same amount of effort into doing something conducive and constructive for their lives. If criminals put the level of dedication that they put into criminal activity into actually being productive members, you guys could be scientists. You could have a completely different life.
converter over a life. That's a problem. And
what
we
up,
have
McCall?
to address this as a city.
What up,
Kristen
your car?
Hartman is the Director of Communications at St. Ignatius College Prep. She's speaking to us on the behalf of Father Jeremiah Lynch, who is one of 15 priests that reside at this Jesuit residence.
Father Lynch is...
Let me just say this. I know that we like to get distracted a little bit, and I'm only going to get distracted a little bit more. It's a lot of S's on that priests, on Jesuits. It's a lot of S's. I'm trying to ignore it. But it's a whole lot of S's in that sh. It's a whole lot of S's in that sh. Jesuit priests.
Is, he's a rooted member of the community. He works at the Cook County Jail as the chaplain and, does wonderful work for our community.
Just before 6 this morning, police say 2 men were trying to steal catalytic converters out of this parking lot at Taylor and Morgan Streets. Father Lynch was inside when he heard the noises and came to the door.
He saw somebody under the car. He heard the noise and he said, "Hey, what are you doing?" And one of them, or both of them, I'm not certain of that, pulled a gun and started shooting.
That's crazy.
Shot 3 times. Bam, bam, bam.
It's unclear if the priest was hit.
He said that he had a little mark on his head. We're not sure if it's the bullet that grazed him, if a piece of wood cut him from the door. We don't know.
What they do know is crime has gotten out of hand, leaving victims and others in this area on edge.
He was certainly shaken. Certainly. All he did was what a lot of us might do. He saw something happening and he said, "Hey, what's going on?"
Which is why police in this district are advising those in the community to call 911 as opposed to trying to be the hero. Police say no one is in custody, nor have they provided a suspect description. We also reached out to the Chicago Police.
Hold the messes. He's tripping over the messes, big dog. Let me rewind that a little bit. Say that again.
Nor have they provided a suspect description. We also reached out to the Chicago Police Department to see if they have any statistics on catalytic converter thefts. They do not. That's the very latest here in University Village. I'm Darius Johnson, CBS 2 News.
Shout out to Darius over there in Chicago, straight from Atlanta, trying to figure out what's going on with these catalytic converters. Y'all better stop shooting at the priest. I know that much. You better stop shooting at the chaplain out here in the street. Where's Mugo?
And also breaking this morning, a Chicago police recruit is shot in the Lincoln Square neighborhood. The shooting happened on Gunnison Street near Tallman Avenue.
CBS 2's Mugo Odigwe is at the
There
scene.
she is. Hey, Mugo. What's up, baby? I see you. Mugo, if at any point you want to come on a Millionaire Morning Show and get your stuff off and get your thoughts off, you are always welcome to come on MMS. Shout out to Mugo Odigwe in the streets, in the building. I see you, Mugo. They gave you a couple of days off for the weekend, baby.
We just got information from police in the last 15 minutes. Mugo, I know it's still an active investigation.
Not Mugo, it's Mugo. Get it right. See you, Mugo.
Yes, it certainly is, but the scene has cleared up a bit
Neck
since we
looking
first
good.
got here. I'm going to step out of the way to show you what we do still see, and that is the vehicle that the victims were in when this shooting started. You can see this black car in the middle of the street here on Gunnison with just really, really bad front end damage. But I also want to get you the video that shows you another view of what that car looks like here. Again, this is the car the 21-year-old Chicago police recruit was driving. That is the victim in this shooting. Again, that front end damage very clear for you to see, and then you can also see 2 bullet holes on the back side of the car. Now, police say the shooting happened just after midnight. The recruit was driving west on Gunnison when his car was struck by gunfire. He was hit in the back before crashing into a parked car. He was taken to the hospital. We're told he is in good condition, so he is expected to be okay. There was someone else in the car with him, a 24-year-old male passenger. We're told that person was not hurt. But again, the scene is still active out here. There were dozens.
Look at Mugo glowing with them police lights in the back of her head. Look at Mugo. I see you, Mugo. All right, baby. Anyways, a police recruit getting shot. before you even become a police officer?
Of police cars a few hours ago. That has since cleared out, but with that car still in the middle of the street here on Gunnison, you can see it's blocked off. There's a police car out here right now. The person who was hit in the shooting, a 21-year-old Chicago police recruit. That person taken to the hospital. We're told he is in good condition, but right now Chicago police say they're still investigating and no one has been arrested.
Do anybody ever get arrested over in Chicago? Y'all shooting police recruits. This may even be the beginning of his villain arc story. He may become Bruce Wayne over in Gotham City of Chicago. Does anybody ever get arrested over in Chicago? Or is everybody just walking around doing whatever it is that they want to do? Look, even couples that go out on date night in Chicago, this is all overnight. This is every single day. Every single day. Brandon Johnson keep telling us that there is large gatherings. And I know he going to get on these boys today because they shooting at the Archdiocese. They're shooting at the Archdiocese today. Brandon.
A husband and wife attacked after going on a date in their Streeterville neighborhood Friday. Just as the sun was going down, the couple found themselves surrounded by teens. They were kicked, stomped on, and punched over and over again.
Everything happened from behind us. First, someone approached him and hit his head, punched him in the head, and he looked back and he looked at me and told me, run. So he wanted to protect me. And as he followed me, he got attacked again, punched in the head again.
Nina is talking about her husband. These are images from the attack that occurred Friday after 8:30 in the evening at Grand and McClurg. Nina didn't want to show her face, but did share these images. You see a chunk of her hair was pulled out. During our interview, her eye was still bruised. Her husband was viciously attacked, too, by a crowd that held him down. Nina says this wasn't a robbery, but the teens pepper sprayed her and kicked her in her stomach. She lost the 2-week-old fetus growing in her womb. Chicago police arrived on scene and quickly caught a 14-year-old male and a 17-year-old female. Both are charged with 1 count of misdemeanor battery.
What kind of demons are running around in the cities? Jesus. Kicking chicks in the stomach, beating them up on date night, mollywobbing. They're not even trying to rob you. They're just pepper spraying you or beating the brakes off of you. Good God.
They didn't steal anything. They say, like, we own the streets. We own the streets. You can't walk around. I was wearing like a nice dress and heels. Like, I was out on a date with my husband.
We own the streets.
And they dragged my dress on the ground and they said, like, we own these streets. You can't just walk around prancing in your little dress. And they were saying things that just didn't make any sense to me because they...
You know, Jay-Z has had a verse or some lyrics that I absolutely agreed with. And he was basically saying, and I don't remember it right off the top of my head, but I remember when Jay was saying basically y'all banging for blocks that y'all mama don't even own or something to that effect. Like the whole logic of it is that y'all claiming and banging on streets and representing neighborhoods that y'all don't even own property in. So you telling me out of her mouth that she lost her 2-week-old baby that was growing in her stomach. Her and her husband got beat up because they were walking down the streets and they told them that you can't walk down these streets. We own these streets. And y'all keep telling me not to get on Chicago. There's no point to ever hold Chicago accountable. Man, where is these blackity blacks? Where is the big advocates? Where is the Hebrew Israelites? Listen, not just Umar Johnson, not just Black Lives Matters, not just Al Sharpton, not just Ben Crump. I want to see the Hebrew Israelites, all of these people that be mobilizing with they lampshades on and, you know, they shingles that's on the bottom of their dresses and their WWE belt that they wear and all of this stuff. And they're marching and they're always for the community. Where are these people at? Where are these people at? Where are all the ones that's saying that lives matters? Well, Anton, that wasn't a black woman. Okay, well, this is a black woman. How about we go here then? Because there's literally a litany of different stories that we can use to illustrate the example of what's going on over in Chicago and why these streets are being taken over.
We begin tonight at 6 with a CBS 2 exclusive.
Hey, baby.
You may have seen this hours-long SWAT standoff unfold here on CBS 2 this morning. The man at the center of it all on the run after police say he shot a mother and her 2 children.
That mother now detailing the horror she lived through that night. To CBS 2's Marissa Perlman. We must warn you, this may be hard to hear and see.
That had to be the most terrifying
beat up
thing that I ever been through in my life.
We met Antoinette Newsom, where she's been recovering from 7 gunshot wounds.
I woke up to a gun in my face.
She wants you to see what domestic violence did to her and her family. Madison police say this man, the father of 3 of her kids, shot her while she was sleeping.
You see why I keep telling y'all to cut y'all hair? I don't want y'all to get profiled unnecessarily.
She believes he snuck into her home, hid for hours, and attacked.
My 2 babies was in the bed. And my baby got out and she said, "Mommy, please don't die."
She ain't get pistol if she got shot.
Physically, but she'll live with this forever.
The 3 bullets in the chest they couldn't take out, so I have to keep that forever.
She won't be able to use her arm properly again.
Yeah, it was a bullet.
She was also shot in the chin and head. Her 12-year-old son, Junior, heard the shots from the next room and tried to help her. He was shot too. Her daughter, 23, sleeping downstairs, was shot and beaten.
To shoot kids, what type of monster are you?
The suspect seen on surveillance running from their home with a gun in his hand. But this morning, almost 2 weeks after this nightmare in Roseland, Lander Coleman was spotted with a gun and engaged in an almost 10-hour standoff with the FBI, SWAT, and police.
It's finally over.
What do you think it took to get there?
You. The power of the media. Chicago police, Madison police, the FBI is what happened. They worked hard. They worked so hard in the little time that they had, and they caught him.
They caught him 2 days after we first showed you Wednesday what happened inside this home. Less than 2 days before the shooting, Newsom was granted an order of protection after what she calls years of domestic abuse. She says she tried to add their kids to that protective order, but a judge denied it, and Coleman was allowed to ask for parenting time. What would you say to other domestic violence victims, survivors?
Never give up. The system is hard to navigate through. Never give up. Keep pushing. Stay safe. That's all you really can do.
We're told Coleman is recovering at the University of Chicago with minor injuries. Newsom is one of 28,000 people in Cook County who filed for orders of protection in the last year alone. In the newsroom, Marissa Perlman, CBS 2 News.
What does orders of protection ultimately do if a person can still come at you and get at you? And she had a whole lot of kids with this person. Y'all pray for Chicago, man. Pray for Chicago. Let me read some of these super chats and then we're going to continue over with the show. Y'all need to start keeping your hands to yourself for real. Artifact says, I appreciate the wisdom you bring to me and my family on a daily basis. A lot of things you discuss are confirmation of how I was raised. Yeah, man, we wasn't crazy, bro. We absolutely are taking care of business over here. JP says, do you check your pro-Palestine? Did you check out pro-Palestine versus Priders in Philadelphia? No, I haven't seen that. Let me see what's going on out in these streets. He said pro-Palestine versus, give me a second. Pro-Palestine versus Priders. Let's see. Let me see what's going on in the street. I'm going to go ahead and see if I can make out anything that's happening in these streets. You said pro-Palestine versus Priders. Let me see. We could pivot. We got a little bit of time. Let's see what's happening in these streets. See if I can get it up here. I don't want to spend no more than 10 minutes seeing what's happening, though. Oh well, can't see it. Well, I guess it wasn't meant for us to see on this one. Nah, send it to me. Send me all of the videos that you got and then I'll check it out. All right? Appreciate you for that. TM says, bro, gonna have Where's Mugo go viral. I say that's the next merch slogan. Hey, Mugo, can I put your image on my t-shirts? Right Insight says, Biden, no one is above the law. Shout out to you, Right Insight. And then my dog Artifacts is in the building, says, wait for it, words with the clock as A. I appreciate you, Artifacts, for holding me down also. All right, y'all, let's continue over. Let's continue over with the show. I want to pivot. Not only do I want to talk about Oakland, I want to talk about the whole state of California. California is an absolute dump. Let me say that again for the people in the back. California is an absolute dump. LA, Skid Row, Oakland, Sacramento, San Francisco. Every day I keep getting all of this stuff. And you know what's so tripped out is being taken over by crime and homelessness. Crime and homelessness. You know, I watched this video, this movie a long time ago, and it was with my dog, Kurt Russell, I think, and it was called Escape from LA. And his name in that was Snake Plissken. Did y'all know that Gavin Newsom, largely the thing that he ran on? And you right, Outpost, you said, but the weather. Man, that's the only thing that they got going on there. I had so much content to go over and try to mine through of what it is that I wanted to share with you guys when it comes to California. Because at first I was just going to talk about Oakland. But now I decided to just roll out with California. And I had so much content. Did you know that they already got wildfires that's raging over in California? I'm going to share that with y'all tomorrow. We're going to go over that tomorrow in Quick Hits. I'll add that into it. But California is wild. But they have the best year-round weather. You are absolutely right. And that's the saving grace. That is the main reason why everybody continues to move over to California. It's not about the money. It's not about the jobs. It's not about the culture. It's not about any of that. It's about the fact that they have weather year-round that is absolutely phenomenal. But they absolutely ruined the whole state, and Gavin Newsom is at the forefront of it. Let me give you a few examples of what you can expect if you decide that you want to come over here from the migrant crisis before Biden completely closes off the borders up until election time, and you decide that you want to live over there. Let's say, for example, you're a rideshare driver, and you pick up a passenger, and you decide that you want to drop them off at their location. This is what you can expect over in California.
We begin with that rideshare driver who shot a man accused of brutally beating a woman. Thank you so much for being with us, everybody. I'm Michael Brownlee.
And I'm Annabelle Sedano in for Carolyn. Today, that driver is sharing his story. NBC4's Hetty Chang is live in Stanton, where that assault took place. Hetty.
Yeah, Michael and Annabelle Turan Sanders says this was fight or flight. He was not going to let this woman die. That's how brutal he says the attack was here. He was dropping off a passenger here in this area last night when he says he noticed a man acting really strangely, stripping off all of his clothes. That's when he says he saw the man approach the woman near the dumpsters.
Y'all got a lot of confidence in these streets. Y'all must be really slanging it out here. Real talk. Y'all got a lot of confidence. Hold on. I got to replay that because I need to make sure I heard what I thought I heard.
He says the attack was here. He was dropping off a passenger here in this area last night when he says he noticed a man acting really strangely, stripping off all of his clothes. That's when he says he saw the man approach the woman near the dumpsters.
What kind of demons is running around in these streets over there in Ohio, Chicago, and California? You telling me that you pull up, you a rideshare driver, you drop a woman off at a location. Soon as she get out the car, you see a man go, oof, oof. And he just take off all of his clothes right there in the streets. And then he start walking over to you to the dumpster. What do you do? What do you do? How do you handle that type of situation? You see a man and he just start walking over to you at the dumpster. It's a demon out here. It's a beat your A take my clothes off and take what I want demon running around in these streets right now. Real talk.
You can see this neighbor startled when she hears a loud single gunshot just outside her backyard. This is the man who fired that shot. Taran Sanders explains it was a warning shot for the man he says he saw who was completely naked attacking a woman near the dumpster.
This female was defenseless.
He should have put a hole in that man right in his head, 2 to the chest.
He began to like brutally beat her. He was kneeing her, he was kneeing her. He was slamming her head against the ground.
Sanders says he's an Uber driver and witnessed the assault as he was dropping off his passenger on Custer Way in this condo community near Catella and Knott just before 8 last night. Sanders says that warning shot did not stop the man's rampage. He says the man was acting very erratic and yelling about religion.
He charges at the vehicle, jumps on to the windshield. And then he proceeds to continue to beat on the glass. And the impact that he was hitting the glass with, I knew eventually it was going to break. I recognized that he wasn't going to stop. I took aim and I dropped him.
Sanders shot the man once.
Let me give a round of applause for this unsung hero that never get their flowers. Let me give a round of applause for this unsung hero that took out one of Constantine's enemies
in the neck and called 911.
He could have potentially killed that woman.
He was questioned by investigators but later released. The man he shot, a 20-year-old who lives in the area, was rushed to the hospital where he's in critical but stable condition. Sanders says he has no regrets about what he did.
I just reacted. I believe in fight or flight, and I wasn't about to take flight and let her, go through what she was going through. So.
Neighbors also say they're glad he was here.
He was here in the right place, right time to protect that woman.
That's crazy.
It was from the heart. It was something that, I felt needed to be done.
Investigators tell us the woman who was attacked is 60 years old. She was treated for minor injuries here at the scene last night. She did not need to go to the hospital. As for Sanders, it's going to be up to the Orange County District Attorney's Office to decide whether he faces any charges related to the shooting.
That's so stupid. Shut the piss up. Ain't no way in the world that this man should ever be charged for shooting a dude that was beating the brakes off of a 60-year-old. And for some reason, it's like the 60-plus and year old and older are the ones that's really being attacked the most. But that's not the only thing that's happening over in California. Over in Oakland, they can't even pave the streets. The street crews that's fixing the streets is basically saying we don't even want to pave the streets anymore because it's too dangerous and our safety is a high concern over in Oakland, California.
An East Bay resident now sounding the alarm after a contractor stopped repaving a street after claims that the neighborhood was just too dangerous. So this unfinished work has now created more problems. There's potholes and exposed gravel. Crown 4's Teresa Stasio has the story.
Good for him.
I see there are plenty of children in our neighborhood that are walking or riding bikes and playing and, walking down the sidewalk. And it's very dangerous right now.
That's Sherry Angrano talking about this. Large potholes littering Colorado's Street in the Sobrani Park neighborhood in Oakland. There are also potholes on Akalani's Drive and Catrone Drive. She explains it all started in March.
At the end of April, there was signage saying that on 5.5 and 5.6 there would be work. So during those days, they came and tore up the existing pavement to get it ready to be repaved.
But Angrano says that when the day came for workers to show up and repave the roads, they were a no-show.
So I referred back to the public notice. I found the project manager and I reached out to him on 5/28, and that's when he let me know that the project was suspended indefinitely because the contractor felt unsafe performing work in East Oakland and was not going to complete the project until the city of Oakland can guarantee a safe work environment for them.
And good for him. Let me give him a round of applause. And good for him. Good for him for standing up for his safety, because remember y'all said y'all own these streets. You can't pave these streets. You can't walk down these streets. You can't take nobody down the streets. It's people that's out here getting naked and kneeing 60-year-olds and throwing their head into the dumpster. Yeah, good for him for placing his safety as a priority before he pave y'all streets. He want the city to guarantee that he not going to get his head knocked off and his equipment stolen because it's so raucous and crazy over there in California, specifically in East Oakland.
Angrano says that putting the whole project on pause and forcing residents to deal with the mess seems wrong.
More and more gravel
It ain't wrong.
Rocks being kicked up every day, every time the bus passes
Your
by.
fault. Your fault.
You know, I did pose that question to the project manager engineer. What happens if my tires get popped?
Oh,
you
well.
know, and all he could do was tell me to submit a request to the city for reimbursement. I would just like the streets repaved as soon as possible. I don't think it's fair to anybody in the community to have this indefinitely suspended or dragged out for
How come nobody is holding the criminals accountable?
another month.
Cronford reached out to the project engineer, the Oakland Public Works Department, the mayor's office, council member Reed, whose district covers the area, as well as the city's director of communications. We have not heard anything back.
You're never going to hear anything from a legislator when it comes to doing the thing that's in the best interest of the people.
Welcome back. Look at this. Safety concerns in Rancho Park after homeless encampments here take over an empty 99-cent store parking lot. And not only are the encampments spilling into nearby neighborhoods, but as KCAL News reporter Nick Zechevich explains, those who live nearby say they are also seeing an increase in crime.
My daughter goes, "Dad, somebody's in your car."
It's disgusting. The debris is unconscionable.
Hey, remember when a while ago, a couple months ago, that I was reporting to you guys and I said that, yo, all of the 99-cent stores is going to be closing over in California and across the nation because they can't afford to be able to stay open, and all of the workers was compliant or crying and complaining and saying, oh my God, we don't want our 99-cent store to close and all of this stuff. Remember when I was telling y'all about that? Well, guess what? As soon as it closed, and this is one of the reasons why you can't have unoccupied structures, why it's important for legislators to make sure that they always, put things in the best interest of the people as far as jobs, businesses, working with small businesses, making sure that you have a vibrant city, because where more people is, the less likely it is for you to have this type of situation. The minute, and I mean literally the minute that they closed the doors, was when people started taking over what was going on, or what was, all of the surrounding areas and the 99-cent store, and they basically made it a homeless encampment. They became engineers. Shout out to Leland Brown. I'm going to be reading that super chat shortly. They became engineers, and then the first thing that they did is around the entrances and around a window, they went and brought all of their stuff. I don't know where they get all of this stuff from in order to bring it overnight. They brought all of their stuff. They put up some tarps, some tents, and that's where they're going to be sleeping. California is garbage, bro. Absolutely garbage. I remember when Gavin Newsom, said he was running to become the governor of California. And then a year ago, he reasserted himself and said that he was going to be combating homelessness. Every single year, Gavin Newsom says that he's going to fix homelessness. Every year, they've thrown like $28 billion towards fixing homelessness. And they've never been able to fix it. I'm looking for it right now. Let me play this while I look for it.
A neighborhood with 99 problems. Makeshift shelters in what is now this gutted 99-cent store parking lot.
The living conditions for the people on the street are horrendous. The fact that they're on the street, it's gotten to another level.
Neighbors saying the illicit activity this encampment has attracted is now spreading.
My main concern is drug use. I just walked out with my dog and I see like two people smoking crack.
99-cent stores recently
Smoking
announced the
crack.
closing of all of their stores, beginning what the company said was an orderly winding down of operations. But people living in this neighborhood say things are all but orderly.
Every now and then we get like encampments on in front of the driveways.
People sleeping in front of our house.
These residents saying it's serving as a home base for criminal activity.
They came into my car, took off, my alarm went off, we ran outside, he took off, I chased him down. He went right over the 99-cent store.
Bankruptcy, a long and oftentimes drawn-out process, and as all that plays out, this property remains unattended. The squatters undeterred, and residents left feeling hopeless.
I want to live like that. I don't want to look at my cameras all the time, and that's what I feel like I'm doing.
The city's responsibility, the 99-cent store, the people who own that lot, someone's got to take care of that.
And that someone technically is the city. Behind me is a sign reading that this is a special enforcement zone, meaning all are prohibited from sitting, sleeping, or leaving their personal items in the public right-of-way in this area.
Politicians are saying we're going to do this, we're going to do that, but nothing has changed. It wasn't like this when we moved in. Nothing like this was happening.
It was beautiful. It was a walking neighborhood. We could walk to the mall, to the restaurants, to the movie theater. It's all gone. It's all gone. I don't feel safe. I don't walk here anymore.
I mean, I feel for the homeless population, but I also feel for us that are paying taxes. So we're losing on every case.
In Rancho Park, Nick Zechevich, KCAL News.
This was 14 years ago. I just so happened to be able to pull this up. This is when he was a mayor. Mayor Gavin Newsom, that was standing on the idea. One of the major platforms that he ran on over in California was that he was going to solve for homelessness. Oh, man. I wasn't able to pull it up. Hold on. Let me see if I can pull up something else. Let's see if I can get something else popping over here. Give me a second. His whole campaign was running on fixing homelessness and that it was easy to solve. Man, I wish I can pull this up. For some reason, it's not letting me pull up the super old stuff. It's not letting me pull up the super old stuff from when he was first campaigning and running on homelessness. See, I remember all of these people. I remember saying, oh, they finally got the guy with the slick hair. And he's saying that he gonna fix homelessness. It's not letting me pull it up. But anyways, California is now being held accountable by Kevin O'Leary. That's basically breaking down exactly why California is now a basket case and how bad Gavin Newsom has fumbled the whole entire state and is basically falling into chaos. Check it out.
Thank you, Stuart. Now, look who's going to stay with me, sitting next to me for the next hour, the man himself, Kevin O'Leary. Kevin, it's great to have you with us.
Great to be here, Stuart.
You've got a kind of a story you want to tell me about Newsom?
Yes. Last year's press dinner in Washington, D.C., I generally go there for the press scrum. It's a good place to schmooze around media. And I met him for the first time. Very charismatic guy. Really enjoyed it. And I took a selfie with him. I didn't consult any of my social media people or anything. And then I posted it. And then I got on a plane without internet. By the time I landed, 2.5 hours later, I had lost 1,130 followers.
Really?
And the rage, because I put in the post, it's been taken down since, believe me, but I talked about him managing one of the largest economies on earth and what a challenging job that must be. But I kind of like the guy. He has a lot of work to do, because if that's the kind of reaction you get from a diverse base like I have across all these different platforms, they were so pissed. I've never seen anything like it. I don't think he's got to do a lot of work, because California, everybody knows, is a basket case. I would never invest there. When I look at companies in the startup or private equity phase, I say, look, I'm happy to do it. We got to move to Texas, Florida, North Dakota, Montana, maybe Oklahoma. We can't stay here because it's not in business. California is not in business. Right. And San Francisco is a war zone.
I don't see how he could become the president of the United States with a track record like that.
Anything can happen, but I mean, I rest my
case. I'm going to read that super chat shortly, Courtney Morgan.
Let's talk the markets for a second. What's with these interest?
Forget all of that. I'm going to read this super chat really quickly. I want this to be a part of it. I'm going to make sure that this is a part of the clip. Courtney Morgan II said, Anton, how would you fix California? Ooh-wee. If I was the governor of California, if I was the governor of California, all right, so let me tell y'all how I will fix California. It's not as easy as just putting a very, very simple fix in and saying, oh, we got to get tough on crime. No, it's got to be a whole lot of things that come along with it, right? Because one of the problems in California is the cost of living is too high, but then at the same time, you can't really put the genie back in the bottle. So one thing that you can't do is you can't say, well, I'm going to roll back minimum wage. Once it's out there, you can't really do anything for it. So the first thing that you got to do is freeze everything in place so that you don't continuously have artificial inflation that is basically being implemented by legislators. This is just my opinion. This is what I would stand on, right? That's the first thing that you got to do is you got to freeze anything that continues to contribute to whatever it is that's happening. The second thing that you got to do is you got to solve for the budget crisis, because California is basically losing money every single day and that they're operating at a budget deficit, and more people are leaving than they are coming into it, especially those that are high earners that pay a lot of the taxes and a lot of the property taxes and what contributes into the budget. And so you got to solve for the budget crisis. One of the ways that you got to solve for the budget crisis is that you got to basically almost literally cut off social services. Now, you can't cut off social services right away because you just can't just cut it off at the drop of a dime. But you got to start to pare down and start to institute rules in place that basically says we cannot have social services on here for a long time. Then you have to invest more in not only what's going on as far as the legislative branches, because even if you empower the police force, it's very difficult for you to empower the police force while not at the same time making sure that you have laws that are conducive to supporting the police. Because if they just keep arresting and then we just keep releasing criminals out onto the street, then you're just going to keep having the same problem over and over again. So you got to solve for the housing crisis, which means that you got to make sure that things go down. You got to lower property taxes while at the same time contributing to the basis. So then you got to go on a recruiting phase to make sure that you have big businesses wanting to stay and reinvest back into California, which makes sure that it's conducive. And then at the same time, you got to get people on the tax rolls. So how do you then increase the taxes or increase the amount of money that you have going into the coffers while you also having money going out? Because then you start to create a doom loop. The doom loop is that the deficit can't be stemmed by just solving for the budget crisis 1 year or 2 years. You got to start to increase tax rolls while limiting the amount of money that you have to keep increasing in order to have people keep having this doom loop, right? So one of the things that you have to do is not only recruit more workers, but you got to get all of these immigrants on the tax rolls. Why? So that they can pay taxes to continue to increase and not have a doom loop when it comes to the budget. Then you got to start working with businesses. Then you got to start empowering the police. It's three main things for a city, let alone a state, in order for it to be productive and conducive. Safety, schools and education, right? Safety, schools and education, public transportation. People need to be able to get to work. They need to be able to lower their costs while at the same time contribute into the tax rolls. So it's so much that you have to start to deal with when it comes to everything and making sure that you solve for the budget crisis. You then have to start tackling homelessness. And you also have to keep incentivizing people to come over to your state, because you can't just keep on depending on good weather in order for people to do it. And you have to stop solving. You got to somehow solve for the artificial inflation that comes along with keep trying to say that, well, everybody is supposed to have minimum wage. And unfortunately, I don't think that I will be able to do a good job. And the reason that I don't think that I will be able to do a good job is because while you're also having to solve for this, because it will be a lot of pain before it comes to the sunshine, I will probably be a one-term governor, because I wouldn't be able to effectively sell to people that they have to go through the pain in order to get to the sunshine. And that's one of the things that politicians are able to easily do, is they're able to easily sell to people, hey, look, I got minimum wage. They're able to sell to you to get these short wins. Meanwhile, your neighborhoods is falling apart. Police can't do their job. Homelessness is running rampant. Social services is crazy. You're throwing a whole bunch of money over into the homelessness crisis, but you're not getting no results as a result of it. And so the balance in being a public servant, or the balance in being an executive, because that's basically what the governor and these mayors are, is you have to sell a rosy picture in the future while allowing people to go through the uncomfortable times that's ultimately going to solve for the crisis that's happening in the state. And it's very difficult to do, because then you got to get the insurance companies back on board because they leave in California. And you got to solve for the homelessness crisis. And then you have to also deal with the wildfires that's over there. So It's a very, very tough job, but it's not a job for the weak. It's not a job to continue to just sell the people without giving them anything that's going to help them. You got to continue to incentivize people to want to stay there. And it can't just be because of the weather or you just on the West Coast. It's a lot that goes into it, in my personal opinion. So it would just have to be an all-encompassing, working together, really, really focusing on doing what's best for the people in order to focus on what's going to be best for the entire state in the next 10 to 15 years. The next 7 to 10 years is done. The next 7 to 10 years is done. California is going to be trash for the next 7 to 10 years. The thing that you would be working on today is what's going to happen 20 years from now, 15 and 20 years from now. You know what else is killing California? It's not just the property taxes. It's not just the businesses leaving. It's the fact that they keep instituting and not really solving for, because they keep saying that they the greenest state, climate change. Well, they gather a lot of their taxes off of tax and oil that continues to be sold throughout the state. So it's a complex area. You got to go through every single nook and cranny to see where all of your finances is coming through. You can't keep depending on the federal government. They generate enough money, they just don't know where to deploy it. So that's just my opinion in a nutshell. All right. Thank you, Courtney Morgan, for contributing into the platform. Let's see what we got here. Let me read some of these super chats, and then we're going to continue over with the show. I don't want to, listen, I would never want to get into politics because it just ain't no money. Unless you're going to be a crooked politician or unless you already made a whole lot of money and you don't mind going into the mire as far as your public image. Because if you get into politics, you genuinely, if you're going to do a good job, you got to be good at business. You got to be good at people, and you got to genuinely want the best for people and be a public servant. Do I feel like I fit all of those boxes? Absolutely. Is it enough money in it for me to do it? Nope, not unless you're a crooked politician. Ain't no money in it. And if you're a crooked politician, then you can get rich like all of the rest of the Congress members. But man, listen, bro, it's not enough money for all of the headache. And if you're going to do it, you just got to really be doing it out of the goodness and the kindness of your heart. Because you can make way more money and implement way more change as a person that's on the outside, deploying your money and your resources in certain areas. But as far as being a politician itself, a good one, it's a thankless job. It's an absolute thankless job. Because I think that all politicians should be working with each other. They should be working together. It doesn't matter if you're Democrat, don't matter if you're Republican. You genuinely should want the best for that state. And in order for you to do so, you can't rail against whoever the president is. You got to stand on what's right for the people. Because everything is all inclusive. Everything is together. And so the problem is that you don't have any good salesmen. You don't have any people with good business acumen. And you don't have any people that's public servants that got a pure heart that actually want to do good. We got people that are incentivized to stay in office, and they don't want what's best for the people, in my opinion. They genuinely don't want what's best for the people. You have to be a very, very pure-hearted person to be a public servant and don't have any ulterior motives and agendas. Stop trying to keep power, which would force you to then do the right thing and the right job. Regardless of what happens, you want what's best for the people, even if it's at your own expense. You got to be a different type of person to actually be a good politician. I just don't see it. I genuinely don't see it, bro. Ain't no money in it. It's no point. Shout out to Courtney. Shout out to my dog Artifacts in the building. Says thanks, written on top of a purple heart. I appreciate you, Artifacts. Chat for more says Central CA Visalia is the perfect spot. I was born and raised in Houston, Texas. Moved out here while in the Navy and stayed. It gets no better. But the problem is that y'all taxes are so high. Y'all got the highest taxes in the country. Shout out to Artifacts says. Got that super sticker for me. I appreciate you, Artifacts. Jay Johnson is in the building, says, it's heartbreaking, AD. We grew up here and saw the entire shift of life get worse and worse. I know we spoke of Cali before, but it is still very sad. It is. It's supposed to be a great state. Leland Brown. Shout out to Leland Brown in the building. Leland Brown says, my mother is in her 60s. I cannot say on the super chat what I would have done to this man if he had attacked my mother, but it would have been the best for the police to catch him instead of me. Mental health is no pass to commit a crime. And I 100% agree with you, Leland Brown. It is savagery out here in these streets. True to myself, Big Bro says, yo, Anton, it's been long enough. Well over 30 days. Hey, fam, true to myself. I know that's you. You still on the pip, big dog. Let me see what's happening in these streets. I don't want you out here doing bad things. Matt Washington says, just showing love. Fine-ass Cameron was firing last night. I agree. Cameron is beautiful. D. McCoy says, bro, you should get into politics. Heck no. Ain't no money in that. I'm a bag chaser. Make sure y'all tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. And shout out to Artifacts for another super chat. I appreciate you, bro. All right, y'all. We got to continue on with the show. So 2 more things, and then I'm going to get y'all out of here, hopefully by the 2 o'clock hour, and we going to rock out. All right? First and foremost, Biden signed an executive order this morning on the asylum process. Now, he don't want to say on the migrants, border crisis, issues, or none of that stuff. He just going to say on the asylum process. Let's dig into it. Make sure y'all tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. Let's see what Biden got going on, y'all.
We're going to begin with a big move from President Biden on the issue of immigration. He is expected to sign an executive order later today. Now, this would be the toughest move so far to control the number of migrants coming across the border. Weijia Zhang is at the White House with the details. Weijia, good morning. Good to see you. What do we know so far?
Well, good morning to you, Gail, and good morning to everybody. You know, this is such a politically charged issue, with Republicans pouncing on the increase in migrants processed at and in between ports of entry along the southern border in recent years. But Democrats blame Senate Republicans for refusing to do something about it. And now President Biden is trying to take action on his own.
It's long past time to act.
At the U.S.-Mexico border earlier this year, President Biden urged Congress to pass a border security bill.
They desperately need more resources, need more agents, more officers, more judges, more equipment in order to secure our border.
But last month, Senate Republicans rejected the measure, just as they did in February, under pressure from former President Donald Trump. Biden's new executive order will allow U.S. immigration officials to deport migrants without processing their asylum claims when the number of illegal border crossings surpasses a specific threshold. Sources tell CBS News that number is likely 2,500 a day.
So this is not really a measure to stop the stem of people flowing into this country. This is just a stopgap measure, and it's just something in order for them to throw it in your face and say, look, man, we trying to solve for the border. They didn't do nothing about it. I'm going to do it by executive order. 2,500 a day. When it reaches a certain amount of people that's at the actual border crossing saying, hey, listen, we want to legally walk into this country based off of asylum, meaning that they're supposed to be under duress. Their country is just absolutely in shambles, and they're seeking shelter, you know, as prisoners of war or walking away from war and all of this stuff, right? When that happens and it meets a threshold and it goes above that threshold is when this executive order on immigration kicks in, because then they can say, we not letting nobody in. Here's the problem with that, right? Number one, we already know that you have a history of fighting Texas on not letting people into this country in the first place. Secondly, we know that you also have a history of not really funding. Shout out to my girl sister. I'm going to read that super chat shortly. We already know that you have a history of not even funding the sanctuary cities and playing nice with Democratic mayors and Democratic cities and governors across the country. And then third, it is your duty as the federal government to stop the stem and the flow of migrants into this country. So what this doesn't address is the actual borders that they're getting in from, in which they're not legally coming into the city or coming into the country. So this is just saying, listen, at the actual border crossings, right? When we measure these amount of people coming in for the day, this is when this executive order or action starts to kick in for asylum seekers. It doesn't actually address putting more border or putting more control as far as preventing people from getting in all of the places that they're getting in illegally. It doesn't actually stem the flow of people into this country by putting resources and forcing people to get in here legally. This is just saying, listen, we're going to put an executive action in place when it meets a certain threshold at the place where they're actually documenting themselves coming into this country. It doesn't actually stop the flow of migrants into the country, y'all. Not in the illegal parts where they're actually running in this country. And we got these cartels that's making trillions and trillions and billions of dollars off of basically running people into this country, which is the equivalent of trafficking.
Which means
But this is CBS Morning, so let's take that into consideration too. I like to use different sources.
Would likely be activated immediately. In May, Border Patrol recorded an average of 3,800 crossings daily. House Speaker Mike Johnson says Biden's action does not go far enough.
It's too little, too late. Now he's trying to desperately show the American people somehow that he wants to address the issue that he himself created.
Former acting director of ICE, John Sandweg, says Biden's order will help.
These administrative actions are not going to solve the situation at the border. They will make a big difference. They will bring a lot of order to the border.
And serve a political purpose.
These dudes, they got whole luggage cases.
Immigration, a top campaign issue among voters.
Just the act of issuing this administrative action gives the president another
Thank you, sister. I'm going to read that super chat shortly.
Debates.
Mayors of some border communities have been invited here to the White House today for Biden's expected announcement. His executive order, though, will likely be challenged in court. Almost all of Biden's immigration policies have led to lawsuits.
Meanwhile, I want to also get somebody else's perspective because, I like to source from different sources, especially when it comes to the president and political issues. Even though they may be a little bit more left-leaning, we got to keep it G across the board. MSNBC is covering this also. Let's take a look.
All eyes on the White House today, where President Biden is expected to make his most aggressive unilateral move yet to address immigration. We are learning the president's executive action would temporarily close the U.S.-Mexico border when daily encounters reach 2,500, reopening only when they fall below 1,500. But will this move be enough to appease either side of the aisle as immigration becomes a top election year issue? Will it make a difference? Let's bring in NBC News White House correspondent Gabe Gutierrez and MSNBC political analyst Maria Hinojosa. So, Gabe, why are we seeing this shift now, and what exactly will this policy entail?
Well, hi there, Anna. Good morning. Well, the White House has been saying for months that it wants Congress to take action here. And you'll remember earlier this year that former President Donald Trump urged congressional Republicans to kill that bipartisan border funding deal. Well, here we are. The White House essentially saying that it needs to take action now. And you mentioned some of the details of this, that once illegal border crossings in between ports of entry cross 2,500, that this executive action will give the president authority to temporarily shut down the border, and it would remain closed until average daily illegal crossings go back under 1,500. So a significant change for the Biden administration, Anna. Of course, this comes after former President Trump tried to do the same thing, or similar restrictions at least, back in 2018, and it was struck down by the courts. The Biden administration expecting legal challenges here, Anna.
I can't just...
You know what's so funny? Let me give Obama some credit right now. A lot of people don't know that Obama, and this is how you know that they actually play in politics. A lot of people don't know that even though they gave Trump a ton of crap for being tougher and wanting to build border walls or whatever, actually he was more closely aligned with Obama on that issue than he is on Biden. Right? Well, Anton, how can you say that? Because Obama had deported more people under his administration than any president in history. As a matter of fact, they called Obama the deporter in chief because he had ICE out here in these streets, man. Listen, wasn't no jobs to be had. Y'all wasn't about to be out here taking jobs from American people. We had a whole issue with regard to the recession and housing crisis and everything like that. People was getting laid off. Obama was deploying every last one of them federal dollars in order to get them people up out of here. If you wasn't supposed to be here, you was getting up out of here. That's a fact. Obama was actually called the deporter in chief. He was absolutely hard And listen, I'm being objective because I have no side. The only side that I want is righteousness and what's right for the people. Obama was out here having ICE run up in people's cribs in all parts of the country and getting you up out of here. He was no joke. And so the same thing that he got heralded for was the same thing that y'all then turned on Trump about. It's just the facts. It's absolutely a fact. And if you go back and you look at the research and you do the deep dive, and you'll realize that that is exactly what happened when Obama was in office. And that's why I don't give Obama a whole bunch of flack. I do think that he did some things that I didn't care for. I think that he was, he did a decent job in managing through the recession as far as a lot of these companies, especially with the auto companies. So we appreciated him a little bit more inside of Michigan because we had a lot of jobs that was stemmed. And the president before him, Bush, did an absolutely horrible job in his 8 years, which I would call the worst president in my lifetime. Clinton actually helped contribute to what wound up being a recession and the housing crisis. And Clinton is actually the one that sold out American companies when we talk about the North American Free Trade Agreement and jobs moving overseas, especially the manufacturing jobs, which they're now having conversations about bringing a lot of these jobs back. Basically for security reasons, not just because, they want you to have American jobs, because we don't manufacture really anything here anymore. We only assemble stuff. But my point is that a lot of this is hypocritical because the very thing that they gave Obama credit for, which I give Obama credit for, I don't give him credit for, and I think that he absolutely led us down a dark hole when we talking about the alphabet community and a lot of these agendas that he continued to push and champion inside of our schools and in our culture and things like that. However, I have to give him 100% credit for being tough on illegal immigration into this country, which Trump tried to carry over as a part of his policies that Biden is now posturing in front of you guys in order to get election points at the 11th hour by saying that, well, I'm going to start tackling this. Listen, you've been in office for 4 years and you telling me you just now want to start tackle what's going on at the border? We don't believe you. You need more people. We don't believe you. You need more people. Absolutely. 100%. We know that you are not tough on borders. We know that there's an ulterior motive, an ulterior agenda, in my personal opinion, as to why it is that they left the border open. And I have a whole lot of thoughts and a whole lot of theories because it's not just one reason. It's a whole lot of reasons that go along with that. But my point is, I will give Obama credit for the fact that he was tough on making sure if you came into this country, you was going to come into this country legally. 100%. Meanwhile, over in the Biden administration, in my opinion, they're trying to distract you from some of the things that the news is not reporting on. Now, I had to do some deep diving, some digging, because when we was talking about Trump, right, and his whole thing, which was basically a dog and pony show for this whole hush money trial, because it's not going to stop him from running for the president. It's not going to stop him or it's not going to send him to jail. We did all of this and they did all of this reporting, but guess what ain't getting no visibility? Guess what's getting zero visibility whatsoever? And I told y'all I was just going to do a little quick segment on this before we got up out of here. Is Hunter Biden. Yes, Hunter Biden. This is the black sheep of the Biden family. Mama Biden was at his trial, right? Mama Biden was at the jury selection. Big Biden, Joe Biden, he out here on the campaign trail. Kamala Harris, Cam, a.k.a. is out here in these streets pushing abortion rights. But Hunter Biden, right, is on trial. And nobody is talking about it. How about that? How about that? The black sheep of the family, the one that was caught in his drawers with cocaine on his backside, because it's a possibility that he had some people that was sniffing some coke. He was out here tricking off on these hoes, right? Embarrassing his daddy while his daddy was out here being the greatest politician of all time. Hunter Biden looked older or just as old as his father. And recently his trial is starting to take place. This is what you can expect.
Opening statements are expected to take place today in the trial against President Biden's son, Hunter Biden. The jury of 6 men and 6 women was selected and sworn in yesterday. Hunter Biden is facing 3 felony counts related to the 2018 purchase of a gun. He's pleaded not guilty to the charges after a plea deal fell apart last summer. and he does face up to 25 years behind bars if he's convicted. NBC News senior investigative producer Sarah Fitzpatrick joins us once again this morning from outside the courthouse in Wilmington, Delaware. Sarah, good morning. Let's start with that jury. They were selected yesterday in a process that was pretty quick, quicker than expected. What do we know about them and how this went?
Good morning, Savannah. That's right. The process went much faster than expected. They selected 6 men, 6 women, and 4 alternates for a jury that is expected to hear about 1 to 2 weeks of testimony. The jurors are a wide range, kind of a cross-section of American life. It's everything from recent graduates to retirees, a wide range of careers, and a wide range of life experience. And I think the key point that we saw in the selection is that these jurors all have personally experienced 2 issues, kind of 2 major themes that are going to be discussed throughout this case. 6 of them either own firearms or have family members that own firearms. And 4 of them have family members, close family members or close friends that struggled with addiction. So, we're going to see in this jury all of them are bringing personal experience to the trial. However, they all said in front of the judge that they could be impartial and would put their personal views aside.
Nobody is impartial. Nobody is impartial, and nobody can genuinely put their personal views aside, which is one of the reasons why the justice system is flawed. It's not perfect. Obviously, we know that there's agendas that's attached to it. But when you're basically on trial in front of a jury of your peers, I think it's almost impossible to take your personal life experiences and thoughts out of the equation and look at it objectively, because we're all shaped by the narratives that happen in our lifetime. So I will definitely keep you guys up to date. I will stay on top of this in order to make sure that Hunter is getting just as much visibility as anybody else out here in these streets, and we're going to see what happens, because he's facing years in prison during an election year for his father. Black sheep of the family. Shout out to Hunter. Let me read these super chats, and then we're going to get on with the show. I'm going to save sister for last. True to myself, as Richard Fain doesn't treat people this way. Okay, good for Richard Fain. I don't have nothing negative to say about Richard Fain. I don't feel like trolling him today. I haven't heard from Richard Fain. I didn't even know that he was still visible. I should see what's going on with Richard Fain. Nicholas Jenkins says, what up, though, Anton? Why you over here asking me to do anything if you finding love in this club over there with Richard? Go hang out with Richard. Hey, guys, 2 free Weeble. Get your free Weeble stock if, you sign up today. Send me an Instagram message, and I will make sure that you get your free stocks, and we're going to be starting a Prime Fund very, very soon. Now, guys, I'm not trying to convince you to do the right thing, okay? Everybody got a different idea of what they think success is. Now, look at this. I'm out here walking in my home. I just bought this home. My mortgage is $2,700 on the first mortgage and $3,700 on the second mortgage. Now, guys, I might sell this house. I don't know. If it all goes kaplooey and interest rates continue to go up, because what is success? Success is when assets, listen, guys, I'm no oracle. I'm no guru. But what I do know is that in my career, I played football. But when I got out of football and I wound up getting into banking, I seen a lot of things. Ladies and gentlemen. And what I seen is that most people don't realize that this is not rocket science. It's assets, and eventually you can take care of yourself. Now, if the whole economy goes out the window, I don't care. Success don't mean nothing to me. And guess what? I'm not going to show no receipts. I don't have to show receipts. I'm just an advocate for you guys to become successful. So what we're going to do is we're going to give you 2 free stocks in your Weeble account. Okay? Listen. Send me a message over on Instagram. Because I'm about to get out of here. I'm just walking down the street, right? I'm exercising. I'm sitting out by the pool. You know, I plan on having my daughter come over later in order for her to help me with some thumbnails. Huh? And, you know, those guys over there that got the Patreon, I'm not going to say their names, but they always showing their watches and, you know, the earn your leisure guys. Now, I'm not going to criticize them because I don't know whether or not you guys find value in them. If you find value in them, go ahead and subscribe to their channels too. But what I am telling you is that it's assets over liabilities. Okay? There's good debt and then there's bad debt. Okay? Now, as long as interest rates, because I'm watching the Fed and I don't know what they're going to do. I can't predict it. But as long as you keep your money in the S&P 500, ladies and gentlemen, you're going to continue to beat the rate of inflation. Shout out to Richard Fang. Shout out to Rich, man. I love you, bro. I got to give you a shout out. What up, though? Anton, pray that your day is going well. Became a bag chaser on the first. Now, Rich ain't going to like that. Looking forward to rocking with you and the Chasers. I love these guys. I think that they're good at what they do. Jude. Shout out to Jude. This is the 11th hour. Executive order is a joke. Biden undid all the Trump policies on day one. That's a fact. Shout out to Wealth Building Journey. Says he's on Moo now instead of Weeble. Oh, get your 2 Moo stocks. Shout out to get that money, Rich. Get that money. Let me make sure I give a round of applause to my girl. Shout out to sister. Richard Fane is not going to like the fact that you gave me a fireball. Oh my God. Sis, what am I supposed to do? I got to make up a separate, unique way to be able to acknowledge you because the love that you show to this show is beyond whatever I already got programmed inside of my stream deck. And so I got to figure something out for you, sister. I'm going to put a special sister notification, applause meter, something. I got to come up with something. I'm going to dedicate my team to making sure that I show sister some love. Can we get some love in the chat? Can we give a round of applause for sister for supporting the platform? Absolutely, sister. You know I love you. I appreciate you. You are absolutely invaluable to what we do. I love you, baby. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. I appreciate y'all. Man, I wish I could do something more. I'm going to have to put a special thing. And we might have to do something else too, y'all. I have to figure that out. YouTube keeps trying to give me $2,000 in order to enable memberships, but I don't want to enable memberships because most of y'all are already part of the Patreon. But maybe I'll give away $1,000 in order for people to sign up for one person to a giveaway or whatever. Because I feel like I don't like to leave no bags uncovered. You know what I'm saying? I'll figure it out. We'll talk about that later. Anyways, let's continue over with the show. Thank you, sister. I love you. I appreciate you. Absolutely awesome. So a lot of people know that what I like to do is I like to, at the end of the show in most shows, react to a content creator and give them hopefully some visibility, and then also give my thoughts on whether or not I think that they're doing it the right way or if they're doing it the wrong way. This content creator's name is The Fading Man. Look at that dramatic man. Look at that boy. He said, I'm working on my thumbnails, getting it in. Fading Man has 1,600 subscribers. 1,600 subscribers. He putting some work in. We got to show love to our content creators. So make sure that if y'all wind up going over to his channel and showing him some love, make sure you let him know that Anton from Anton Daniels sent you. And the name of the video is called Getting Laid Off at 55 years old and Fighting Depression. And he did one of these. I like that. I like the effort that you putting in. You got this and it's fading out and you got the the filter on there, and you, oh my God, and you got the camera up and you took the picture like this. He did one of these. He said, shout out to the Fade Man. I like that. I like the effort that you got going on over there, Fade Man. All right, so we're going to get into this video. I have not watched it yet, but he's basically talking about being 55 years old and getting laid off and then depression setting in. Make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, turn on your notifications, and then also make sure you tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. Let's rock.
Hello, folks. So I am 55 years old, and for the last almost 6 months, I've been laid off. And I'm starting to feel a little bit worried because I still don't have a job. But more than that, I'm feeling embarrassed and I'm feeling stupid. Stupid for staying at a job for 12 years with a company that I knew laid off all the time. When I first got the job at this company, right away, I knew that there were layoffs. I saw layoffs all around me. And for 12 years, I probably witnessed 25 different layoffs. And I still stayed with the company.
All right. So first of all, you know what you got yourself into, and you got every single thing that you can get out of this company. Meaning that he went into it with his eyes wide open. He wasn't surprised. It was nothing that he didn't expect. When he first got the job 12 years ago, yes, I do detect some of that too, Mark Coleman, but we're not going to talk about that right now. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about the money. He went into it with his eyes wide open, meaning that he got the job and he knew that it was a possibility that he can get laid off, but he ran the bag up and he was being successful, which means that if you first get into that situationship, then you know not to ever depend on that job in order for you to get a mortgage. You know not to depend on that job in order to pay your car note. That job was supposed to be a temporary stop for a permanent solution. Maybe a career change, maybe growth, any of that stuff, right? But he did like a lot of us do in society, and it's not to his, we're not going to talk negatively about it because we want him to come out at whatever negative space that he's in. But he did what a lot of us did, and we start to put our faith in what we've consistently seen over a period of time, and it all can be upended in one moment, in the snap of a finger. And so instead of him using this as an opportunity in order to level up and go to the next level, he allowed for it to basically hamstring him, cripple him, and then not continue to progress. I'm never, ever, under any circumstances, ever going to put my faith in an organization. I'm going to put my faith in myself. And so I'm banking on me. I'm banking 100% on me. Everything that I get from them is extra. And if everything goes phenomenal, that's more than I ever expected. But at the same time, I'm continuing to progress. I'm continuing to level up. I even tell people inside of the Bag Chasers, hey, listen, by 3 years, and I know it's some people that tell y'all to job hop sooner than that, but I don't believe in that because 3 years allows for you the time for you to really build relationships, for you to have growth, make a decent amount of money, get some projects under your belt, and then also show some consistency within the workspace or within the career path that you in, that you're not just the type of person that's going to leave after a year, but you're the type of person that sticks around long enough in order for you to actually have some accomplishments. And then ultimately you move on to greater things, whether you get promoted in a company. But at the 3-year mark, before the 3-year mark, you should start getting curious. Regardless of how far up you go in the company, at the 3-year mark, you should get curious because companies will pay you to leave. They will pay you more to leave than for you to stay. Now, that don't mean that you shouldn't also be leveling up in the company, but at the same time, two things can be true at the same time. By the 4-year mark, you should be full stride going into your next position. 4-year mark, unless you are 100% at the top or you in a space to where it's just extra and you just getting that bag extra and you already got something else going on the side. At the 4-year mark, you should be already gone. So he was there for 12 years, even though he witnessed this thing playing out the way that it had been playing out, over 25 layoffs since he'd been there. So he should have been already girded up and ready. Shouldn't even have been there for 12 years.
And I knew that there was a great chance that I was going to get laid off, especially the last year, because I basically ran out of work. And
he
they
knew it
laid
was going to come
off somebody from my team the year before for basically the same reason. And it seems like they were trying to weed out our team. And also we got new management, and
he should have been out of there ASAP.
Those new managers didn't care about us at all. They never had our back. And I work for a company.
See, now we starting to get into the excuses. You knew that you ran out of work. You were no longer adding value into the company. You seen a guy last year get laid off for the same thing. You seen 25 layoffs happen before, 25 layoff rounds over the last 12 years. So basically a layoff round every 6 months. But now we starting to lean into the victim Olympics and saying, well, the management didn't care about us. You knew. You already said that you knew that this was going to happen. So why are we now starting to play the victim and blame it on management? You knew that this was going to happen. You should have been girded up and already had your LinkedIn ready, updating your profile, resume writers, investing in yourself, getting in shape, getting your social media profiles together so that you can market yourself more effectively and all of that. You should have already been in full stride, bro.
That you're just a number at this company. They lay off anybody. It doesn't matter if you're a VP.
For some reason, y'all think that somebody owe y'all something.
A supervisor, a lowlife. They lay everybody off. They're constantly reorganizing and laying people off, and they don't care how it affects your life. So I knew that, and I never found another job. And I don't know why. I just rolled the dice. I also saw that successful people at the company moved around. Like they got different jobs. They didn't stay in the same place.
Oh, he knew all the things to do.
12 years like I did. I was in the same position, same department, did the same job for 12 years at that company.
So he's telling you out of his mouth, the successful people in the company, they continue to grow, they move around, they stay in one place. He was the one anomaly, the needle in the haystack that was able to get as much money as he possibly can, doing the same thing without any kind of growth, and he expected for them to keep him. Ain't no loyalty.
I never moved around once. And my friends who I started out with, the people that I were close with were already laid off before I was laid off. They didn't really move around that much. So the people that seem to, be able to stay at this company and move around, or they know somebody high up. I didn't. So I knew that I should be leaving that company. I kept complaining to my family for like 5 years, I'm going to get laid off from this place. I'm going to get laid off from this place. I'm going to get laid off from this place, And they were like,
5
oh, no,
years?
you're not. No, you're not. I was like, you do not know this company. And I still didn't leave. So now I feel really stupid. And, but when I first got laid off, I thought, well, I heard, everybody told me, well, they can't keep people in positions, hiring managers can't find people to hire, you'll find a job easily, blah, 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 blah. Well, first of all, when they laid me off in December.
Lazy.
So that's a terrible time to be laid off for a job. So for the first
lazy as hell
few months, like from December to March, basically, I hardly had any feedback on my resumes that I sent out. People weren't hiring at all. They don't really hire at that time of year. It was only in March really that things started to pick up, and then I had some bad luck on interviews.
Yo, the level of lack of accountability in this video is incredible. All right, let me remix that. I'm going to play it again for y'all real slow, and then we're going to go from there. And again, my first time watching, I'm reacting to it. I'm giving you my authentic thoughts. Make sure y'all go and check out his channel, The Fading Man, and let him know that I sent you. This is what he said. Listen.
I had some bad luck on interviews.
Translation. I didn't know what I was talking about when I went into the interview. I wasn't prepared. I didn't do no research on a position. I've been stagnant the whole time. I don't have no skill set that I've been continuously improving upon. I interviewed bad. I came in, I didn't give a good presentation. I fumbled. I knew I wasn't getting a job. I got some interviews, I got some shots, and it was no way I was getting a job because I was trash on that interview. That's what it means. That's the translation. Ain't no such thing as bad luck on an interview. There is no such thing, in my personal opinion, as bad luck on an interview. I don't even remember the last time that I had a bad interview. I was not sufficient enough for the position that I was going for. I was over there fumbling. They told me that I was talking stupid, and you should have watched the Interview Like a King video on the Patreon. You should have watched listen, it's a video on the Patreon called Interview Like a King. You watch that video before you go on an interview. I'm not going to guarantee you that you're going to get it, but it's a very, very, very good chance that you're going to get the job if you watching that video and you implement everything that I tell you in that video inside of the Bag Chasers. There's so many gems in there. Make sure y'all tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description. Let's continue.
There were jobs that I thought that I was going to get, and basically they told me I had, and I didn't get them, and I still don't understand why. But now I'm in the situation of being 55 years old and not having a job, and right when people were about ready to retire, and so
people retire at 55 years old. When? Harpo, when? I make a crazy amount of money, and I throw a whole lot of money into assets, and I very much expect to be working past 55 years old. It's just productive. If y'all have ever watched the video on Netflix about the people that live the longest over there in Japan and Okinawa and all across the world, they stay physically productive for the entire time, and that's one of the things that give them life.
So
shout out to Vizzy. I'm gonna read that super chat shortly.
That I can work at until I'm like 67 and then retire. But I don't know when that's going to happen. You know, so I'm stuck in this really weird position, and I'm really starting to get depressed. So the longer I'm laid off, the more depressing it gets. And I don't know what I'm going to do.
Shout out to Khalid King. Good luck on that interview.
You know, I've tried talking to people and stuff like that about my feelings and stuff like that, and it's just, there's nothing, they can't help me. The only thing that can help me is having a job. I'm somebody who likes to work. I like to get out and meet people, and yet I'm stuck in this position. So I guess this is just a really, really bad time in my life, and hopefully it's the last big obstacle I have. Hopefully the next time I find a job, it's going to be one that, you know, lasts forever. A job that I can retire from. But right now
he's still on it. He want another 12 years. 55. He want to retire at 67. He want another position where he can go and lay around and try to figure it out for the next 12 years. And a lot of these people is just they work and retire. That's ultimately what it comes back down to, bro.
I'm really just feeling embarrassed and stupid, and just really starting to get depressed. So I just can't believe I'm this old and I find myself in this position. And, you know, I tried doing the right thing. Before I had this job, I had another job, and I had 13 years of seniority at that job. And I was laid off from that job because of outsourcing. They outsourced my job to India, you know? And so now I find myself in this situation. So, you know, it sucks. And, I'm going through it day by day, but I just can't believe it's taking this long. But anyway, if you like my story.
Anyways, make sure y'all go and check him out. Tell him that I sent you if you're interested in subscribing to his content. But man, listen, man, y'all got to have a level of enthusiasm, and you got to have good energy, and you can't wait for somebody to give you something. And he's too old to still be thinking like this, and he should understand exactly what goes along with it. But a lot of these people are just waiting to be able to get Social Security and a pension and sit around all day and scratch their balls and not necessarily be productive members of society. This is silly. Depression comes from, it's a mindset for what success is supposed to look like. Whenever I've ever lost something, I got excited about the possibilities of what if right after that. Anyways, shout out to y'all. I appreciate y'all for continuing to rock with me. Just want to acknowledge one more super chat. Vizzy says, shout out AD and the Chasers. I'm almost caught up. That break a dip is giving me major FOMO. Never again. Shout out to y'all. I appreciate you. Thank you, Vizzy. I appreciate you for supporting the platform. Again, make sure y'all subscribe to the Patreon. Link is in the description. The best time to join the Patreon is the beginning of the month. We do this show every Monday through Friday. We never miss, ever. After hours is tonight. We getting it popping. And more to come. Great things to come. Make sure y'all jump into the Discord. The link to the Discord is in the description of any of the most recent videos inside of the Patreon. And I see my dog D. McCoy came through. Says, a veteran told me never to be loyal to jobs. That's a fact. That's a fact. I'm with that. I'm with that. All right. Shout out to D. McCoy. Shout out to all of you guys. I'm going to see y'all tonight. I hope y'all see value in what we're doing over here at the Millionaire Morning Show. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. I got a meeting I got to jump into. I'm going to holler at y'all tonight. See you, Fanny P. Peace.